All right, hello everyone in WM8009. Let's jump right in and talk about the Week 6 Startup Development Progress Review. A lot of you have been asking about it, so we're going to demystify the whole thing. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's expected and how to knock it out of the park.
So here we are. It's Week 6, your first big checkpoint. And the number one question floating around is probably this one. What do they actually want to see? It can feel a little vague, right? But don't you worry. We are going to break it all down and give you total clarity.
Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page about what this review even is. I want you to think of it less like a scary exam and way more like a tool. It's a pit stop on your startup journey, designed to help you, not to catch you out.
Now this is the key phrase you really need to understand. Formative assessment. Sounds official, but what it really means is that this is all about feedback, not grades. Yeah, it's mandatory, you have to do it, but it's worth exactly 0% of your final grade. Let me say that again, 0%. Its only goal is to give you awesome structured feedback so you can ace the projects that actually count later on. It's like a practice run with a built-in safety net.
To see the big picture, just look at where we are on the course timeline. You've just spent 5 weeks in that initial development phase, coming up with ideas, doing research. Now, right here in Week 6, you've got this review, our little checkpoint. It's the perfect bridge connecting all that early work to what comes next, validating, building, and prepping for those big deal graded assessments in Weeks 11 and 12.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty, your actual presentation. Think of this as your playbook. It's super straightforward. You've got about 7 to 10 minutes, and you just need to hit 6 key points. That's it. Let's walk through them one by one.
The first half of your presentation is all about building a strong foundation. First, you've got to clearly state the problem you're solving and, just as important, who you're solving it for. Be specific. Second, show your work. How do you know this problem is real? This is where you bring in your evidence, what you learn from interviews, surveys, anything like that. And third, what's your big idea? Explain your solution, your value proposition, and why it's so valuable to that person you just described. And now for the final 3. Number 4 is about your early business model. And notice the word early. They just want to see your first thoughts on who your customer is and maybe an initial idea for how you might make money. 5 is your MVP progress. You have to show something, but look at the examples. A sketch, a simple wireframe, that's perfect. Finally, and this is huge, you got to reflect. What have you learned so far, and what's your game plan for the next few weeks leading up to A11?
Okay, let's pause here because this is so important, and it trips a lot of people up. What does MVP actually mean at Week 6? Well, what it is a concept, a sketch on a napkin, a basic digital wireframe, or a really early prototype. What it absolutely isn't is a fully polished, completed, final product that's ready to show investors. The goal here is to show your thinking and your progress, not perfection.
And you know what? Just to hammer that point home, let's talk about all the things you absolutely do not need to have ready. Consider this your official permission slip to be a work in progress.
Seriously, just look at this list. A fully polished MVP? Nope. Finalized financial projections? Not a chance. A complete brand identity with logos and everything? You don't need it. You're not expected to have all your market research done or an investor-ready pitch. You don't even need your final presentation for A11 ready. This review is about checking in on your process and your direction. That's it. Okay, so if it's not graded, how do you pass? That's a great question. The good news is the criteria are super simple and totally transparent. They're just designed to make sure you have the fundamentals in place to do great work later.
Let's look at this side by side because it makes it crystal clear. You're going to pass if you can just present a clear problem and user, show some kind of evidence you've tested your idea, have a value proposition, show any progress on an MVP, and can talk about what you've learned. The not pass side is basically for situations where those fundamental pieces are just missing. So as long as you've engaged with the process, you are going to be just fine. It's that straightforward.
And that brings us to the real prize of this whole exercise, using the feedback. This is how you transform this one check-in into a roadmap for getting an absolutely fantastic grade on your final projects.
The course guide says it perfectly. You're going to get some verbal feedback right away, but then you'll get detailed written feedback within 48 hours. That document, that's pure gold. It's your personal guide telling you exactly what to focus on between Week 7 and Week 10. So the most crucial thing you can do is listen to that feedback and actually use it. It's your path to success.
So let's wrap this up. Please, don't think of this review as a hurdle to clear. Think of it as a launch pad.
It's specifically designed to give you data and a clear direction forward. So the real question isn't, how do I pass this? The real question is, after you get that great feedback, what's the very first thing you're going to build or test next?